In our last session, we took a look at working with spot colors, doing color separations, creating our underbase, understanding what densities or tints of ink are and how we can use them in CorelDRAW, working along with simple steps for color separations and color management. In this session, we want to build on that foundation by understanding what objects support spot colors in CorelDRAW and can be separated. We primarily work with two types of objects when it comes to design in CorelDRAW and spot color for color separations. I'll go ahead and open up my design base here, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in our Camaro again, and I'll just import that into current document. And this is all vector. And we can do some things with vector, and we can create some very realistic looks as long as we're working with metallic things or things that look like they've been machined or text and etc. But if we want to get into some really high-end art, I'm going to come down here into my monochrome category. We want to depart from vector and start working with raster images. I'm going to go ahead and click on this tiger here, and we'll take a look at him. And you can see the detail that's in him. Radically different from working with vector, but yet because it's monochrome, it will support spot colors and separate. And we have clients all over the world using our monochrome art, and the design base is full of hundreds of these design assets set up as spot colors in Draw. We'll click through here. See a horse here, you see a bear, we got a bull there, there's a wing, and this is all hand-drawn stuff. It's not vector, and there's quite a bit of detail in it. We're going to go back here to the tiger. Before him is a lion, and we'll bring him in. I'm just going to import into current document. Now that he's been imported, I'll go ahead and minimize my design base, and we'll take a look at what monochrome is. Come here and resize this just a bit and put it next to our Camaro. This is kind of photorealistic. This is high-end hand-drawn. Let's go ahead and take a look here. This is actually pixels. Now there's a lot of disinformation in the market that Corel does not handle raster images very well, when the fact is Corel handles monochrome bitmaps better than any application on the market relating to t-shirt design. As we zoom in here, you can see that this is hand-drawn penciled art converted to a monochrome. Well, what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at this, because we're going to totally depart from vector right now and look at something completely different. Go ahead and click on Ungroup here, and this monochrome that you see here is set up with spot colors in CorelDRAW, and we can see that down here in the taskbar. I'm going to go ahead and open up a color palette. I'm going to go to Window, I'm going to go to Color Palettes, I'm going to come down to Pantone Solid Coating. I'm going to bring that over into my workspace, left click and just move it over. Now what we've got here is, here's the background. When we build these out, we build out a background image and a foreground image. In monochrome, if I right click and change what in vector would be the outline color, I have a spot color that I can separate as a spot color in CorelDRAW, and I cannot do that with any other raster object in CorelDRAW. CMYK bitmaps, bitmaps that are RGB from the internet, grayscale. I do not have color management associated with those raster images. And even though it's limited to one spot color, when we start piling objects underneath each other or on top of each other, we're able to create very incredibly detailed high-end graphics that function as spot colors and can be color separated. I'll hit C and E to separate those in CorelDRAW. Let's take a look at that. I'll go ahead and lasso this, and I'll hit Control C, and then we'll go ahead and start a new document. Select OK, hit Control V, paste that in, and here we have a raster image. I'm going to go Print, I'm going to go Color, Print Separations, and you can see we've got two Pantone colors here, and there's the separation. I'm going to Print Preview here, just so we can see how big that is. Now, in dealing with monochrome, it's a little bit different than working with vector, and we've got a complete training series on this on the site called Secrets of Monochrome and Design Effects in CorelDRAW. We've also got quite a bit of training on AdvancedT-shirts.com with this relating to Fashion Factory. But the fact is that if you're in the t-shirt design market or you're just getting started, I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and maximize my design here. Let's take a look at some modern t-shirt designs. And these are some MMA style designs. You can see that what we're dealing with and what we're seeing majorly is a far cry from vector. Just look at the detail in these. And if we can't design at this level, then we're not going to be prepared to deal with some of our competition. And monochrome really is the key to designing at this level, using it in your effects. And we can see this t-shirt design here, which could be very easily translated to monochrome. And we can see this design here. A lot of detail going on here. As you can see over here, that's probably vector, that's probably vector. That's certainly not vector. Go ahead and click on this one. We'll take a close-up on this shirt. And we're logging into, what is it, MMA Fight Store. But you can see the detail here associated with these designs. And you want to be able to print and create designs at this level. You don't want to be limited to simple vector. Not that vector is entirely simple, but when we're dealing with vector, we can do very nice with cars and things like that. But we're not going to be able to do hand-drawn looks like this tiger here. Now I had everything selected. I want to hit Control-Z and change this to a black, as you can see with this monochrome here. Now what we like to do is display the myth that you can only work with vector in draw, because that's not true. We want to lay a foundation for that right here. We've got monochrome. We just saw that it color separated. We could color separate this and convert it to halftones and simple steps, put a white base under it, and print it out very effectively. We have thousands of clients working with this level of detail very easily in CorelDRAW. One thing I do want to take a look at is if you do have design assets like this, we'll go ahead and take this tiger and go to bitmaps, convert to bitmap, and it's like 300 dpi grayscale, and turn off transparent background, select OK, and let's say that this came from a client as a grayscale, or I had it in clip art as a grayscale. You notice now I can't change colors on it, but I have a tool for that in my Fashion Factory. Go to Advanced Tools, Fashion Factory, and we have a tab called Monochrome, and here we do monochrome conversions. Now looking at this image, and if you go and look at the Fashion Factory training series, we show you how to prep your images and get them ready for conversion. But we'll go ahead and see that with the Fashion Factory I can convert this grayscale to a raster object very easily in Draw that will support spot colors. Go ahead and click on a 300 dpi monochrome conversion here, and that'll take just a minute to process here in CorelDRAW X6. And I had a grayscale. I couldn't apply any colors to it. Let's say this was a hand-drawn piece of pencil art that I imported from, scanned it in as somebody gave it to me, and I'm stuck and don't know what to do with it. Well, now it's a monochrome, and I have color support with it. If I wanted to, I could go mask out and create a background color for it just like this here, and I can make it any color I want in my designs, and I can mix it with vector design elements and many other things. So we'll go ahead and wrap here, but we want to be aware of the fact that we can work with spot colors primarily in Draw in your vector objects, many of your effects with your vector objects such as drop shadows, and monochrome bitmaps, and also duotone bitmaps. Now I didn't get into duotone bitmaps because I don't use them anymore. I do just about everything with monochrome bitmaps if I'm working with raster. Go ahead and wrap here, and we'll continue in our next session.